Hey everyone, so I hope you found the video I shared last week around authority and how to find the decision maker in the sales process useful. In this week's video, I'm just going to share with you probably one of the most fundamental elements when it relates to sales for you and your small business. And if you can't get this right, if you don't identify this, if you can't spot this element, then you will never get consistent sales results. It's about the problem, the want, or the need, or the driving force for the prospect to do anything. What is it that's making them want to buy your service? And if you don't identify it, if you don't tap into it, if you don't really get close to what it is and identify the key factors, the emotional and logical, that are driving the prospect to make that decision, nothing's going to happen. Have a look at the video. I recorded it last year. It's going to give you some really great insights and tips on how to ask the right questions to probe, find out what's going on, and get the results that you want. Have a look.
We're now going to cover off the N, the need word. And I think this is probably one of the most, if not the most important part of the whole BANT process. What you'll also notice, I've also added a couple of other words that I think are also really important when it comes to this part of the activity that we work with as salespeople. Need is great and it fits very well with the BANT model. But there's also the two other words of problem and want that are also, I think, are really key factors to consider when we're in this part of the process. And our job as salespeople is to identify what this is. It's the most crucial area of the BANT process because fundamentally, unless this exists, there is no major driver or reason for that company or person to buy something. So our goal is to understand this and to be in a position where we really get beneath the surface of what's going on from the person and within the company to see what's driving them to make this decision. The other key element around this part of the process is, as the great Stephen Covey says, our goal is to seek first to understand before then being understood. So many salespeople will try and sell to a company before they've really got to understand what's driving them to be in the position they are. And it's so important as salespeople, we seek to understand, we listen before we talk. We really look to focus on what's happening within that organization. Why is it in that position? What's happened to get it to that point? And the more we understand, the more we can then be in a position to reflect back and show them that there is an alternative, it's our solution, and how it can make a difference in the way they work. The third thing to consider as part of this process is still the element that people still buy selfishly. I'm not saying for one moment that anyone in a company will make a decision, if you're selling to a company, just to serve their own ends. But people will make decisions. In the 70s and 80s, it was people never got fired for buying IBM. And the driver behind that was they knew if they bought IBM, it was a safe decision. They would protect their jobs. They would go to their bosses and say, I've made a safe choice. People still buy selfishly, and our goal as salespeople is to understand what's driving that. Maybe they've got an aspiration to lead a certain department or area, and your project can help elevate them to that. Whatever it is, our job is to understand that so that we can get to really know what's going on. And the final point around this part of the need is we've got to focus on the outcome. Theodore Levitt said it, and he said it so truly. People don't buy the drill, they buy the hole. And when it comes to sales, they're not buying the service that you offer, they're buying the outcome it will give them. Maybe it's the savings, maybe it's the productivity gains, maybe it's the new revenue, the better customer experience, whatever it is. And the actual outcome that they're buying there are people saying they're doing a great job, or people saying their part of the business is doing incredibly well, or that they're doing brilliantly as a person. So let's have a look at what the individual questions are that we can identify what the need or problem or want is, and how we can unpick this and understand what's going on in the world of our prospect. What are some of the questions we can ask that can enable us to get to know our prospect more effectively? As I mentioned in other later parts of this series, it's vital that you ask some of these questions once you've built that initial rapport. Questions such as this: what has made you want to address this issue right now? Or what has made you want to address this need right now? Is a great question that can actually enable you to find out what's going on with them. And they may say to you, we've got X, Y, and Z pressure that's happening and this is causing us to look at this as part of our plan, or we have a directive from our management that says do this, this, and this. Whatever it is, Enabling them to be able to tell you what's causing them to do this right now is a really clear way in which you can get a sense of their pain and what's happening in their world, and enabling you to really then probe deeper if need be and find out a bit more about what's going on within that person or within that organisation or department, and try and identify what's causing them to be in this position. Well, there's another great question I think you can ask, which is, how big a priority is it at the moment for you to resolve these issues? Ask them honestly, or maybe you can even ask it in a way such as, on a scale of 1 to 5, how big a priority is it for you to deal with this issue? The point is this: if it's a 5, it's a major need or problem that they want to get resolved, they're going to want to move things forward. And our job as salespeople is then to understand that a bit more, probe beneath the surface and find out why it's such a priority, what's driving that. Another great question to ask will be, what will be the impact if things carry on as they are? We all as people move from a point of pleasure from a point of pain. And sometimes if there's an opportunity to grow and get somewhere, that is great, but it might come secondary to moving away from the difficult place I'm in right now. I don't want the pain carrying on. By asking a question such as what will be the impact, I can really get a sense of the problem or the need for them to move to that point in another area. And the more I know, the more I understand, the better I've got a chance of being able to see if we're a good fit to work with them, and if we are, to help solve the problem. And I think another great question to ask when we're really trying to probe between the need and the problem of the individual prospect is understand the value that a new solution could have. Ask a question such as this: what value could a new solution have for you as a company if implemented properly or effectively? By adding in the question effectively, properly, we've been able to show that our focus is not just on selling the dream, but delivering that dream as well. But being able to understand what value it can have for them is key. And if you remember that we talked about people focus on the impact, or focus on the impact and the outcome it has, not effectively what you sell. There will be something else that you do that will be the reason they're buying that service, and it's our goal and job to find that out. Another key thing to think about is the personal reason why that individual is looking to do something. And asking a question such as this: how big a pain is this for you personally right now, is a real great way to see how big an issue it is for them. How does it make them feel? Does it cause them strain and stress? If the prospect knows that we really care about solving issues for them personally, we want to help them, we want to make their world a better place, we've got to be in a far better position than those that just focus on selling their service and getting money for it. And another final question that you could ask would be something such as this: how have you tried to solve this issue in the past, and why didn't it work? The chances are this is not a need that the prospect has just had. Maybe they've had this issue for a period of time, but they've tried to solve it previously and it's not worked. Why didn't it work? Another great question I always ask to my prospects and people I work with is this: what does success look like for you in 3 to 6 months' time? Or what would success look like for you in 12 months' time, depending on the cycle you have? Ask them to picture and describe what this need looks like, what this problem or this want looks like. Ask them to really be able to show you that actually, if I could get to that place here, here and here, that's where I want to be.
So there you have it. Has that given you the insights you needed to be able to make the right type of questions and ask the right questions in the right way in order to get the results you want? I certainly hope so. Identifying the need, the problem or the want. I prefer it problem or want, but need works because it's the BANT process. Identifying those elements are critical. Do that, you're in a great position to get the sales results that you want. If you don't be surprised if the sales process becomes more challenging. My name is James White. I'm a small business sales expert and a man that loves helping small businesses like yours, hopefully, get great results. Or even if you're a salesperson watching this and thinking, hey, this can help me, it can. There's great ideas and insights through all of my videos and channels. Subscribe to the channel, make sure you get access to the videos every week, and I can make sure that you get the tips and tools you need to get brilliant sales results. See you soon, guys. Bye-bye.